He just never woke up. That's what the wife said, trembling as she sat at the edge of the hospital bed. She was still in her nightgown, as if the world had played a cruel trick on her in the middle of a peaceful night. Her husband of 42 years, a man who had weathered storms, raised a family, built a life brick by brick, had gone to bed after brushing his teeth, cracking a dry joke about his cholesterol and slipping under the covers beside her. Nothing unusual. Nothing that would have suggested this was his final moment. But at 2:47 a.m., his heart stopped, silently, without warning, without drama. He died in his sleep. Now, many people hear that and think, what a way to go. Peaceful, quiet, no pain. And sure, on the surface, that sounds like an ideal exit from life. But what no one talks about is why it happened. You see, it wasn't fate. It wasn't fate. It wasn't random. It wasn't just a his time. It was the accumulation of habits, seemingly harmless everyday decisions that were silently chiseling away at his well-being for years. And the tragedy is this: it could have been prevented. We are not merely victims of time. We are participants in how time affects us. The choices you make, especially as you get older, begin to magnify in their consequences. When you're young, you can brush off a bad night's sleep. You can recover from staying up too late or skipping a few meals. But after 70, the margin for error shrinks dramatically. The cost of neglect grows, and bedtime becomes not just a routine, but a crossroads between survival and surrender. I want you to listen very carefully, because what I'm about to say could save your life or the life of someone you love. There are 5 bedtime habits that, while seemingly innocent, are extraordinarily dangerous after the age of 70. And I'm going to tell you what they are. But more importantly, I'm going to tell you why they matter. Because this isn't just about avoiding death. It's about reclaiming your vitality, protecting your autonomy, and ensuring that when you do go, it's not because you were careless or uninformed or passive in the face of your own decline. Let's go back to that man. He was 65. Yes. But he was young in his own mind. He didn't see himself as vulnerable. That's part of the male tragedy. We ignore our own fragility until it breaks us. He'd say things like, I feel great, or I'm still strong as a bull. But feeling is not the same as knowing. He didn't know that his blood pressure spiked every night after he ate a heavy meal at 9 p.m. He didn't know that his late-night TV sessions were disrupting his circadian rhythm and weakening his heart. He didn't know that skipping his evening medications every now and then would eventually catch up to him. He didn't know that what you do, or fail to do, before bed can become a silent trigger for catastrophe. The first habit that killed him was eating late at night. After 70, your digestive system slows down. That means your body takes longer to process food. And when you overload it right before bed, especially with salty, fatty, or carb-heavy meals, you're putting your entire cardiovascular system under stress. You think you're just having a late-night snack, but your heart thinks it's under attack. Your blood pressure rises, your insulin spikes, your body stays awake trying to cope, and true sleep becomes impossible. And what happens then? Your body enters a state of chronic inflammation, night after night, week after week, until one night it just gives out. The second habit was alcohol. Now we romanticize this one, especially in old age. A glass of wine to wind down, a little whiskey to calm the nerves. But here's the brutal truth. Alcohol doesn't help you sleep. It sedates you. That's not the same thing. It disrupts your REM cycle, suppresses your breathing, dehydrates your system, and inflames your organs. And when you're over 70, your body has far less capacity to recover from these effects. What feels like a harmless nightcap is, in many cases, quietly pushing you closer to a stroke, a fall, or respiratory failure. He used to joke about it, how he needed his liquid lullaby. But the truth is, he was using alcohol to escape his own restlessness. He was masking anxiety. He was running from silence. He didn't want to be alone with his thoughts at night, so he drank to blur them. That you can't blur reality forever. Sooner or later, your body demands accountability for how you've treated it. The third habit, he neglected physical stillness. Now, this one's counterintuitive. You think rest is good, right? But I'm not talking about rest. I'm talking about stagnation. After 70, if you go to bed without having moved your body adequately during the day, or if you lie in bed for hours without changing position, you're inviting blood clots, poor circulation, muscle atrophy, and more. It's not enough to be still. You have to earn your rest. Your body, even in old age, needs movement. It's built for it. If you sit all day, then lie all night, you're basically telling your cardiovascular system you're not needed, and eventually it stops showing up for you. This man, he used to work in construction. He was strong once. But in retirement, that strength decayed. He'd sit on the couch, watch TV, shuffle to bed, and call it a day. And every night, his heart grew a little weaker, his muscles a little stiffer, his lungs a little more shallow. And he didn't notice, because decline is quiet, until it isn't. The fourth habit, ignoring your breathing. Now, this one kills more people than we realize. Sleep apnea is rampant among older adults, especially men, but it's underdiagnosed. You might think you're just snoring. Your partner might think it's annoying. Your partner might think it's annoying. But what's really happening is your brain is being starved of oxygen over and over again every night. You wake up groggy, confused, sometimes with headaches or dry mouth, and you dismiss it. I'm just getting older. And your precious, irreplaceable brain is deteriorating. That man, he never got tested. He never wore a CPAP machine. And eventually, his heart couldn't take it anymore. The fifth and final habit, and perhaps the most insidious, was emotional neglect. He carried burdens, regrets, guilt, bitterness. He didn't talk about them. Men his age rarely do. But emotional weight doesn't disappear just because you refuse to acknowledge it. It festers. It steals your sleep. It makes your mind restless, your dreams fractured, your soul uneasy. He'd lie awake some nights staring at the ceiling, thinking about people he lost, things he didn't say, mistakes he never made peace with. And that psychological stress, it translates into physical stress. Your cortisol rises. Your heart rate accelerates. Your immune system weakens. And you drift into sleep not with peace, but with tension. That too takes a toll. That too shortens life. So what do? You take responsibility. You stop dismissing these habits as a normal aging. You stop saying, it's too late for me. Or, I've always done it this way. You begin to honor your body like it's something sacred, because it is. You begin to see sleep not just as a break from life, but as a critical function of life itself. You clean up your evenings. You eat earlier. You limit alcohol. You move every day, even if it's just a walk. You talk to your doctor. You get tested. You wear the damn CPAP if they tell you to. And above all, you confront your soul. You look at your life. You ask yourself, what am I carrying that I no longer need to? Because sometimes the thing that's killing you isn't in your bloodstream. It's in your heart. That man didn't think he'd die that night. He had plans. He had people who loved him. He had more stories to tell. But he didn't make the changes. He trusted time. He trusted normal. And time, eventually, said no more. Don't wait for that. If you're over 70, or even approaching it, now is the time to take your evening seriously. Build a bedtime routine that honors your biology, protects your mind, and fortifies your spirit. This is your second adulthood. This is not the time to fade quietly into passivity. This is the time to stand tall against entropy, to fight for your right to wake up tomorrow, and the next day, and the one after that. You're not helpless, you're not fragile, you're not finished, but you are responsible. If you found value in what I've shared, if something in this spoke to your soul, then share it. Send it to someone who needs to hear it. Maybe it saves their life. Maybe it starts a conversation. And just maybe you go to bed tonight with a little more awareness, a little more care, and a little more reverence for the fragile miracle that is your beating heart. Because when it stops, and you don't get another shot. Take care of yourself tonight and every night after.